Hello and welcome to the Recursion Cafe, where we play games from the discard pile. In today's game of Unmatched, we have Sunzida on the left playing against Chris on the right. Sunzida is playing Winter Soldier, a 2-move, 15 health solo fighter who is ranged. His effects cannot be cancelled because he is brainwashed. So he's one of the newer fighters for King Country, and he can be a bit of a menace. Chris is piloting the Genie, who is also a solo ranged fighter with 16 health and 3 move, which is notable. His ability is infinite power, so at the start of his turn he can discard a card to gain an action, which plays into his theme a lot. There are the players showing the camera their hands. Looks like Winter Soldier has a pretty balanced hand, and Chris is starting with one of his 3 wishes, so looks like everyone's pretty happy. Winter Soldier took a double maneuver and is sitting in that corner ready to make an escape through the tunnels if he wishes. And that wasn't a wish joke, but there we go. So then Chris maneuvers, and Genie wants to keep his hand up, but he has plenty of draw cards, so I don't think Chris is going to be that bothered about being aggressive. Here comes the attack, and it's an Imprisoned Wrath into a Complete the Mission. So it's a 3 value into a 3 value, no boosting needs to be done on Sunzida's side, and at this point in the game I don't think Chris is likely to discard 2 cards, so everyone's kind of happy with that. That's a good defense out of Winter Soldier's hand already. So Winter Soldier will move right next to Genie. No real reason for that other than the Bionic Arm. So there's a 6 value Bionic Arm into a 2 value, I grant you death. Sunzida will deal 4 damage and take 1. That's a pretty solid trade if you ask me. Chris will get to move his fighter up to 5 spaces. I'm not sure whether that gives him much benefit. Does not, so Chris will swing straight back with a wishing for more wishes into a wily fighting. So that's 3 card draw for a damage and giving your opponent a card. Again, these trades aren't going so well for Genie. I think in terms of like individual cards, Winter Soldier has much better trades, but that's not really Genie's game plan. So anyway, both players get a few more options, and then Genie will take a maneuver. It's still in range of Winter Soldier though, so Winter Soldier will shoot back with another 6. It is without remorse into a Back in the Lamp. Genie will heal 4, take 6, so net 2, and then be able to draw a card. Winter Soldier's just being helpful at this point, to be honest, and so is Genie. They're just helping each other draw cards. It's a nice, friendly rivalry they've got going on, I'm sure. Winter Soldier isn't trying to assassinate this mystical being at all. So Winter Soldier will this time maneuver away, maybe is short on defense cards, and will sit on the other end of the map. Genie can follow, so there's a discard for 3 actions. First action is maneuver, walking up to the portal. Second action will be to walk through the tunnel and stand, I believe that's right next to Winter Soldier, and then attack. Third action, it is a careful what you wish for into a wily fighting, so both players take 1 damage. So current health totals are 13 to 8. Things are looking up for Winter Soldier, who has both healing and recursion in his deck, and Genie is definitely one to burn bright and fast. Here's a Bionic Arm, a 6 into a Back in the Lamp, so another net 2 damage through, and Genie is able to move up to 5 spaces. Yeah, as I was saying, Genie really wants to go hard and fast and is not hanging around for the long game. Winter Soldier can do that, but let's see if he can survive the onslaught first. So looks like Genie's hanging around, isn't going to run away. Winter Soldier takes the opportunity and shoots again. So there is a Reflex Memories into an I've made Sultans out of less. So straight up 3 damage goes through to Genie, bringing him down to 3 health in total. However, Sultans triggers first, and Chris can look at Sunzida's hand and discard a card, and then the rest of the hand gets discarded from Reflex Memories, drawing Sunzida back up to a hand size of 2. So this might be a problem. So we have Genie at 3 health and Winter Soldier at 13. Let's see what Chris can do about it. We know he has a 3 wishes in hand, and here is the 3 action turn. So 3 wishes, the first, to discard both cards in Sunzida's hand. 3 wishes the second, to draw 5 cards, and Chris is still at 3 actions. So can he deal 13 damage in 3 actions with a hand size of about 8, 10? I can't quite remember how many cards he had in his hand. If anyone can do it, it's probably Genie. The balancing factor is that a lot of his cards don't have particularly high values, but they have good effects for this. So your wish is my command. So here, I believe there was a misunderstanding. So instead of discarding 2 cards to gain an action, Chris thought it was draw 2 cards and gain an action. And Sunzida is understandably confused and looking at the card, and will kind of correct him here. So he does, in the end, discard 2 cards to gain an action. He discards the draw defense, the 1 value draw defense, and another card, the heal card, and he plays another 3 wishes. And at that point, they go through the text and realize there's been a mistake. So Chris goes through and discards or reshuffles the 2 cards that you did draw, which is the 3 wishes and another card. It's a friendly game. I don't think there was anything untoward going on here. It was just a misunderstanding of the card. So still gained the action, so still has 3 actions, I believe. So there's an I am freed for 3 + 1 damage. That's 4. Bringing Winter Soldier down to 6. Still has 2 actions left, I believe. And potentially more down the chain if there is more action gain. Here's Imprison Wrath for 3 damage, no ability trigger, and then of course Wishing for Wishes to perfectly put Winter Soldier down to 0 for the game. So there we are, there's a pretty explosive turn to round out that matchup. It went from 13 health on Winter Soldier's side and 3 health on Genie's side to just 3 to 0. Yeah, it really speaks to those kind of 2 different playstyles, right? Winter Soldier is slow, steady, measured, but just kind of unstoppable. And Genie likes to has trouble holding things off for a little while, but once he builds up and can pop off, you get an explosive turn like that. And if your hand count is low, there's not a lot you can do about it. Anyway, really nice game from these 2. It's good to have Chris back on the stream again. If you want to support the channel, there is a link in the description below where you can buy a coffee from the Recursion Cafe. Thank you for watching, everyone. See you next time.